My dudes, what is up? Stacy here. I'm trying something a little bit different in today's video than my usual format. I wanted to connect with you all and tell you what I've been up to since I left Instagram 4 weeks ago. I know, that's not a lot of time, but for context, I've been sharing my life online since I was about 10 years old. This is when I started learning how to code, making websites for me and my friends before social media platforms really existed. Although I was active on LiveJournal, Tumblr, MySpace. I was a weird kid with niche interests. And the internet was a place where I could really find people I didn't have in the so-called real world. I wrote essays about my very strong opinions as an angsty teenager, took photos of pretty much everything on disposable cameras, or my first digital point and shoot before cell phones had cameras. Photography, self-portraiture, modeling was a huge creative outlet for me all the way through to adulthood. And then I eventually started my own business where I was posting on socials for my clients and for my own business. Then I moved to this tiny house. I started a new Instagram page, joined YouTube, with pretty clear intentions on what I wanted to do with these two platforms. Ultimately, I hit a place where Instagram was no longer serving a valuable purpose in my life. I felt that all the interactions I had on that platform were shallow, surface level. It was constantly distracting me, filling little gaps in the day with advertisements and videos that I would forget almost instantly as I scrolled past them. So one day I just decided, that's it. I'm gonna uninstall this app from my phone. I took one last tiny house tour video and posted my goodbye. I started to notice a couple things almost immediately. The first is that I kept reaching for that spot on my phone where the Instagram icon used to be. It was always unconscious, not a thought out, I'm gonna check Instagram, but more of a knee-jerk instinct that I didn't even realize I was doing. The second thing I noticed is that I kept wanting to record myself. Doing yoga, going on a hike, shopping at some sustainable small business, what I was cooking, what I was eating. There was one particular time when I was driving down the highway and the sky just looked so incredibly beautiful. So I set up my phone on my little stand on my dashboard and I almost hit the record button, and then I realized, what am I gonna do with this video? I started taking videos just to send to a friend, my mom, my partner. I started taking photos just for me, to look back at them later. Sometimes I just put down the phone and merely observed my surroundings with my own eyes. You know the old adage, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? A lot of us in today's day and age probably find ourselves thinking, if I don't post this, did it even happen? We want people to celebrate our achievements. We want validation and recognition for working towards our goals. I remember this tree falling in the woods question really getting on my nerves in philosophy class back in high school. Of course it does, I thought. Why would I, as a human being, think I am so significant that the natural world doesn't continue to exist without my mere observation? The question is supposed to challenge our assumptions about what constitutes reality, whether something exists independently of our perception of it. Are the experiences and the narratives that we share on social media accurate representations of reality, or are they curated versions designed to present a certain image? I think we all know the answer to that one. It's a form of storytelling. I'm doing it right now. This is ultimately how our brain forms memories, builds narratives, and shapes our understanding of the world around us and how we fit into it. It's fundamental human nature. But there are stories that enrich us, that leave us inspired, moved, changed, like good art does. And movies that are so we find ourselves at the end of them thinking, well, that's 90 minutes of my life I'm never gonna get back. I don't think Instagram or TikTok are places where we're encouraged to think outside of the confines of this inexplicable algorithm, or to discern the difference between insight and noise. For example, let's say you want to convey an idea, share an experience, or vent about a personal gripe. You might start by asking, what hashtags or trends can I piggyback on to frame my experience so that it can be relatable to others, but will also gain traction and expand my reach? More likely though, this happens in the opposite direction. You don't start with the idea or the experience. Your ideas and experiences start to get shaped by the trends and the hashtags, which get infinitely recycled and stretch so far beyond their original intent that they start to lose all meaning.
Assigning a narrative to life is actually really detrimental, because it's not how the world works, and it's not how reality actually works. The world doesn't have a story. We basically arbitrarily just assign that to it when it's actually just a bunch of random that's happening. Not in a nihilistic way, but in like a beautiful way, in my opinion. Because again, everything is like an ecosystem. Everything is reacting to everything else that's going on, right?
Being a tiny house dweller was such a big part of my identity until it just became invisible. When my friends would introduce me to people and bring that up, it almost took me by surprise because I forgot about it. It started to become a smaller and smaller part of who I saw myself as. So, who am I now? People were finding me at the beginning of their tiny house journey, where I did all of this work leading up to this moment. The curtains have closed, the credits rolled, but life keeps going. So what happens next? I'm seeking the answers in new places. I joined a local yoga studio. I started volunteering at a community garden. I have more phone calls and one-on-one conversations with my friends. I'm even reading books again. Basically, I started pouring that time back into myself and into connecting with my community. Simple enough, right? I'm attempting to, in my feeble and imperfect way, reconstruct my identity and how it shapes my perception of the world and where I fit into it. That's all for now, folks. Take it easy.